exquisite presidential leadership. Mr. President, thank you for getting us over the finish line.
Thank you, President Trump, for allowing us to have you as our president.
Well, Mr. President, I have to say that you're living up to everything I thought you would.
November 8th, when President Trump, you were elected President of the United States. That's when I knew it was real.
We would not be standing here today if it wasn't for you.
President Trump was proud to include part of drilling in Alaska as part of the tax bill, but he also seems to have found his own renewable energy source. Praise from Republicans on Capitol Hill. My panel's here with me now, and I have to say, this is, Senator Santorum, a way to get to work with the president. He likes praise. This is not new to politicians, but he sure likes these public demonstrations.
Yeah.
And it seems to have worked, and you have this big tax bill victory as a result.
Well, hopefully, I think everyone, it's one of the things I learned when I was in the United States Senate, they always said, what's the most important vote? And the answer is the next one. And so, yes, they won the tax bill, but that's not the most important vote. It's the next one. And they want to tee up the president to say, hey, look what happens when you win. Looks what, you get lots of people saying lots of nice things. You feel good. Your poll numbers are going to go up. The American public is going to be jazzed. And so this was more of a pep rally for the president to make him feel like, hey, we want to do this again, and maybe working with this is a good idea. So I give them a lot of credit. I know it's, for some, it's hard to take, but I think it was very well designed.
Do you think that there is a lesson for Democrats? President Trump's going to be president for the next 3 to 7 years, as far as we know. Do you think that there's a lesson there for Democrats if they want chip funding, if they want an infrastructure bill, or is that just a bridge too far, this praise?
I mean, nobody should be surprised that the president is getting this praise, but what the tax bill has shown that money really can buy you love. And that kind of love is coming from the Republican Party to a president who's talked about everybody, from Speaker Ryan to Leader Mitch McConnell.
Insulted them.
Right, like a dog. I mean, the whole time. But now all of a sudden, it's all about love. I mean, for Democrats, we really got to get out there and connect with the people and really show that this plan, the GOP tax plan, is really a giveaway for the most wealthy people in this country at the expense of the working poor and middle class in this country.
Vice presidents are known for praising presidents.
It's their job. That is
it is
sending point.
And it's sending point too important. But I have to say, Vice President Pence does take it to a new level. Right. Twice this week he did it. Take a listen to one of them.
I truly do believe, Mr. President, that this will be remembered as a pivotal moment in the life of our nation. A day when the Congress answered your call and made history. But honestly, I would say to the American people, President Trump has been making history since the first day of this administration.
What do you think?
Well, technically true. Anything he does make history in some sense. But listen, I think Pence has to constantly prove to the president that he's not a threat to the president. But moreover, for all the Republicans who continue to praise Trump, talk is cheap. And a lot of Republicans have to take the opportunity to stand by Trump when it's convenient and when it's easy to do, because many times they can't. So I think that's why you see this kind of overpouring sentiment when it comes to a real accomplishment, because they don't get to do it that often.
Well, and what they say behind the scenes. There's been reporting, for example, that Mike Pence during the campaign was ready to coup Donald Trump and take his place on the ticket.
After the Access Hollywood tape, when people thought Trump might have to step down. Yeah.
Right. There was reporting that Kevin McCarthy, who we saw there, one of the top Republicans in the House, once joked that Trump was on the Russian payroll. Bob Corker, the senator from Tennessee, did not joke when he said he questioned President Trump's stability and competence. The Secretary of State reportedly called him a moron. The National Security Advisor, General McMaster, called him an idiot, according to reports. This is what they say behind his back.
Yeah, there's some denials of various charges you just said.
No, but you had the interview of the year with Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State,
deny it. That's
who
right.
refused to deny it because he's not a liar.
So listen to what the former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, has to say about Vladimir Putin praising the president.
I think this past weekend is illustrative of what a great case officer Vladimir Putin is. He knows how to handle an asset, and that's what he's doing with the president.
Now, General Clapper clarified he meant that figuratively, not literally, but he means it in the sense that foreign leaders, and I think there's some validity to this, and not necessarily the most nefarious way necessarily, but the Japanese, for example, have figured out how to deal with President Trump You compliment him, you flatter him, you work with him behind the scenes, you don't take a stand against him publicly. There's something to this.
Yeah, look, Donald Trump is not a complex man. I mean, I think that's fairly certain. But that really goes to your question to Nina. How have the Democrats blown this? Because they have gone out and driven Donald Trump into the arms of Republicans and conservatives. I mean, I'm sitting here a year into this term, stunned at all of the conservative things Donald Trump has been able to do. And it's because he's getting no quarter from the Democrats. The Democrats are just going after him hammer and tong, and he has no choice but to go and drive the conservative agenda at all the regulatory things he's done. I mean, this is an impressive lineup of things the Democrats are screaming about. The one chance, and they did. They had this. I forget what it was. Where Schumer and Pelosi did the short-term
over government funding. Yeah.
And Trump was talking right after that because they all said nice things about, oh, we should work together more. And they basically slammed the door on him. And he's now gone back into the arms of Republicans. So to answer Nina, you can complain about this tax. You can complain about everything. But you've blown this. You've blown the opportunity to work with this president.
I just think that's just ahistorical. It's counterfactual. It's false, Rick. The Democrats would gladly work with him if he had
Donald Trump is a conservative ideologue who actually wanted to do
No, he's an autocrat who's trying to enrich himself in office, and he's succeeding. The Republicans seem to want to help him with that, passing a tax bill that lines Trump's pockets. Democrats unwilling to do that. But the Democrats have done very well politically in the year of Trump. They won a landslide in Virginia. They swept maybe even the majority of the House of Delegates. So a huge landslide in New Jersey, much more blue state. And they won a Senate race in Alabama. Now, I know there was allegations of child molestation. It's probably not the best message.
Issue there, yeah.
But if you just explain it away like that, it's like when Scott Brown won the Senate seat in Massachusetts. All my Democrats said, oh, it's a one-off, it's no big deal. We then rolled into the worst landslide we'd ever had in the midterm. This is what's going to happen in 2018.
That was
a
landslide, a blue wave. Substance
Do you think that a Democratic wave is coming?
One would hope. I mean, I saw a survey that said there are about 391 people in the queue to run for Congress in 2018 as Democrats. Now, if Democrats can't win with those odds, then something is definitely wrong. There is a wave coming, but this is really going to be about who can excite their base. I mean, things are happening now. What's reality today might not necessarily be reality tomorrow, but the Democrats are going to have to get out there and make the strongest case possible using this tax plan as one of those things. The CHIP program, I mean, for God's sake, how do you not 9 million children land, right there at the mercy of Republicans, and you don't say that we commit to come together for 9 million children in this country?
But I'd say one point on upcoming races, I think Donald Trump drama does cover up a lot of the internal strife going on within the Democratic Party right now. Yes, they have an 18-point generic ballot polling advantage, but man, are they really going to bet their races on running against Republicans on tax cuts? Are they going to depend on having a Roy Moore in every race? And if you look at the disruption that's going on the Democratic side, it gets undercovered in the news. But if they're going to resort to Antifa-like tactics, which you continue to go on, they continue to get arrests every day in the U.S. Capitol. They continue to break buildings. It's happening.
But you're sweeping all Democrats with a broad brush like that? No, there is not one Democrat that I know of that supports any type of physical violence whatsoever.
I saw an event by Tim Kaine get shut down this weekend. I've seen people take over a mic by Bernie Sanders. There's going to be more attention focusing back to that, and if you can't get your house in order, you don't have a chance of beating Trump.
I want to ask one final question of you two, which is in the recent CNN poll, 66% of Americans say that they see the tax bill as doing more to benefit the wealthy than the middle class. This is a risk. Do you think ultimately it's going to pay off for Republicans?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think I just saw something, a report that 89% of people in New Hampshire are getting the tax cut. I mean, you're going to start to see the truth come out about this bill. There's been a lot of, frankly, inaccurate reporting going on about what this does. You saw AT&T, Wells Fargo, a whole bunch of companies now coming forward and say, hey, by the way, we're raising our wages. We're giving bonuses. This will trickle through, and that will be the reality instead of the rhetoric that was leading.
But you also saw other corporations who are giving benefits to their tax holders at the expense of the workers. And shareholders, excuse me. But I got to say, there is not one Democrat that I know of that believes in violence at any of these events.
But it does keep happening. It does keep happening.
There is a disruption in
one Democrat.
Yep.
Right, that's right. But there's a disruption environment going on, Jake, in this country to really push the political elites to do something for the people, and that does not mean violence.
All right. Thanks, one and all.